You don't need better workouts, but you do need something to lose. If you're training regularly, you still feel bored, soft, uncompetitive, or disconnected. This video is going to show you why your training stopped working in the first place and how you can fix it without adding more volume, niche exercises, or steroids for that matter. But before I dive in, I want to share where I come from because over the last 5 years, I've worked with over 2,000 athletes, ranging from the busy professionals all the way to the full-time college and professional athletes. I've been a gym desk jockey, and I've also managed having 30 plus guys on a training floor at once. And after years of being exposed to the bad, the good, and everything in between within the fitness industry, this is the final conclusion that I have arrived at. So let's get into it, shall we? So in addition to the 2,000 athletes that I have worked with, I have my CSCS, which is a certification entitled the Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. I've worked with hundreds of professional athletes up to this point and gotten them in the best shape of their lives. And I've taken myself through quite the transformation as well, going from as high as 210 pounds 235 pounds at my very peak as a 19-year-old, all the way down to where I'm at now, which is hovering right around 175, feeling the best I ever have, performing at the highest level. The thing that we need to understand, folks, there are a variety of reasons why most training plans fail. And you can usually boil them down to one of these core topics, components, or focuses. The first one just being on your physique, making sure that you can look the best, which then in turn will make you feel the best. And that is true to a certain degree, but at the same time, what if you could also look your best and feel your best at the very same time? And we'll talk about how we're going to do that later. Shredded without skill. Are you just trying to get into shape for the sake of getting into shape? Or do you want to be able to actually use your body in a utilitarian way? Do you want to be able to actually play sports or run around with your kids or perform difficult tasks around the house or have the energy to walk into a workplace and get the things done that you need to and have energy just throughout the day to enjoy your family, your people, and provide? And if you pursue comfort over competition, that is going to leave you shorthanded with your exercise results and your ability to progress because you always stop short of the mark that is actually attainable for yourself. If you continue to push yourself, surround yourself with a group of people that are all striving to become better week by week, that actually incentivizes you to work harder and push yourself beyond the limitations that you've placed within your own brain. The saying goes, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go as a unit. And so this is a marathon, not a sprint. We need to try and win the race here. Perhaps you don't have any accountability. That's a big problem. We can show up for ourselves and we can keep ourselves accountable, but what happens on the times that we don't? Who's going to hold us accountable? Who's going to be there to say, hey, I got my workout in today. What about you? Or, hey, I was dialed with my diet today, had 3 nutrient-dense meals. What about you? Or I got my mobility in. What about you? I got my cardio in. What about you? And for some people, the reason that their training plans fail is just because they're bored. It's calorie deficit, resistance train 4 times a week. And to a certain degree, the boring results are going to get the results because it's consistency and it's monotony over time that is going to lead to the long-term results. But if you don't have any novelty within your plan at all, then you're just going to fall off. You're not going to be compliant to the plan itself. And so you need to continuously switch things up, make sure that you're engaged, and make sure that you're able to see progress over a long time horizon. Training was fun. You had boundless energy. You could walk into the gym after and staying up all night working on a project and smash PRs. And then you'd go to the dining hall and you'd crush pizza, and that would be all the protein that you needed for the day, even though it's a carb and a fat source at the very end of the day. And you just pushed as hard as you possibly could in the gym, no matter what. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what your Garmin watch said or your Oura Ring or your Whoop, what your labs tested as the last time you were in there, or how many grams of protein you inputted into your app the day before. You just went in there and just pushed and ground and just tried to be better and just worked as hard as you possibly could. You gave the maximum effort that you could to that day. And what was that really rooted in? Was it rooted in vanity? Was it rooted in self-desire? No. The reality is that it was probably rooted in competition because you had to compete with yourself, but you also had to compete with the men around you. If you were an athlete, then you understand that if you don't put in the work, somebody's going to come and they're going to take your spot in the lineup, or they're going to take your roster spot. When the rubber meets the road in a game, whoever's standing opposite of you on the line of scrimmage or in the batter's box or whatever it was, they were going to beat you because they put in that time and they put in that extra work. And so that incentivized you to say 1 more rep, 1 more mile, 15 more minutes, whatever it was. It allowed for you to say, I need to push a little bit harder. I need to push past these comfort and these limitations that I placed on myself. The reality is that you need something to lose. If you don't have the opportunity to lose at something, what's the incentive? You don't want to work harder. You don't want to improve any skills. You don't want to seek out that competition. You're just like, I'm exercising. I'm just getting on the treadmill for 10 minutes and I'm just hitting the dumbbells a little bit. And then I'm just doing some of this. You're basically just like existing. There's no drive. There's no progressive pursuit. With any great operator, they're always looking to become better than they were the previous day, the previous hour, the previous minute for that matter. You need to push yourself. If you don't have that feeling of loss or that feeling of getting beat down, there's no incentive for you to train as hard as you possibly can. And that's what we really need to get back to here. There is a massive shift that can happen for you. You think that the game stops when you're retired. Couldn't be further from the truth. The game stops. Never. That's right. Sounds weird for me to say, but the game never stops, literally. And what you need to adjust your training and your competition and your desires after as it relates to building yourself up, you need to base around the 4 domains: the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and then all of the extras. That's just the thing that makes you a well-rounded man. And those are the areas that you can pour into in order to receive the feedback loop of provision that's going to allow for you to become the best man possible, to show up for your job, to show up for your family, to show up for any of the stressful moments that might arise in this life, because they are inevitable. So that could be sports, that could be combat, weaponry, cooking, finance, history, masonry, any of these things we need to be well versed in, because if we are just a body in the gym that looks good, we are useless. That's right, I said it. If we are just a body in the gym and we create an idol out of our body without any sort of applicable nature to what we can do on the physical side, we are useless. And so that's why we train. We train for utility. We train for performance, not aesthetics. We don't want to be shredded without skill. Nobody does. And so just a quick breakdown of the system here. We're going to be doing at least 3 to 4 strength sessions per week, no longer than 60 minutes. We're performing all of our sets to technical failure, perfect form, 3 to 4 minute rest periods. Want active rest. We want to be walking around, moving around, making sure our blood doesn't get stagnant here. We're going to get 2 to 3 cardio sessions in per week. We're going to be running, biking, swimming, rowing, anything that we can do outdoors, anything that you can get into zone 2 doing, and then maybe a day that you can hit your max heart rate as well. 1 to 2 competitive skill outlets minimum per week. Whatever skill outlet that you pick, could be running races, sprinting, it could be biking, it could be tennis, it could be golf, it could be jujitsu, it could be boxing. It doesn't matter. You got to find those skill outlets. You got to find those areas to pour into. We're going to be doing mobility every single day to make sure that we can stay healthy, we can stay limber. We're going to take at least 1 minimum full rest day per week. And everything you're going to do is going to be to maximum effort, every single thing. And you're going to be fully intentional, fully present with that responsibility. We're going to stay between 8 to 9 RPE, or rate of perceived exertion, or 1 to 2 RIR, which is reps in reserve. So rate of perceived exertion is on a 10-point scale. RIR is also on a 10-point scale. But the way that you flip it is basically saying, if I'm at a 9 RPE, I'm at a 1 RIR. If I'm at an 8 RPE, I'm at a 2 RIR. Make sense? You just kind of flip those two. You're going to use progressive overload in all of the areas, even outside of strength training. So cardio based. Are we doing 30 minutes 1 week? Cool. Let's do 31 the next. Let's do 32 the following. How many jump shots do we put up today? If we're playing basketball, we put up 50. All right, let's put up 55 tomorrow. Let's put up 60. How many swings at the golf club do we take? Do we take 100? All right, we're doing 150 tomorrow. You're finding opportunities to compete against others and yourself. And that is how we move the ball forward here. So, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. Hopefully it gave you some insight into how the Eternal Athlete System works on the physical training side. And if you want to learn more, you can just shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I will send you the Foundations Guide, which you'll get access to. Additionally, that'll give us the opportunity to maybe connect one-on-one and see if you'd be a fit to join the Eternal Athlete System as an athlete. And then we'll really get you dialed from that point. So I appreciate you watching this. Make sure you watch out for the next video in this 6-part mini series, and we will talk then. Appreciate you.